Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to MII 1602, the microcontroller. My name is Akvianto Eko Putra from Department of Computer Science and Electronics, Universitas Gadjah Mada, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. We will talk about the introduction to microcontroller in general before we discuss and talk about the microcontroller, especially in microchip PIC16F. So, for the first time, I would like to ask you that what is microcontroller? There is a big difference between the microcontroller and the microprocessor, but we want to talk about the microcontroller. So, this is the general illustration about the microcontroller. Just as you can see here, you can look that the microcontroller itself can include the CPU or the core or the brain of the microcontroller, and also the peripherals which can be used in many applications inside in the microcontroller itself. For example, the oscillators units, the ADC or analog to digital converter units, the RAM or memory, and the program RAM, also memory to store our program, and other peripherals. And just I mentioned before that the brain of the microcontroller is a microprocessor itself. But the microprocessor is very different uh, according to the microcontroller or comparing to the microcontroller. The peripherals of the microprocessor is outside the chips, but in the microcontroller, the peripherals inside the chips. So, as an application, the microcontroller can use the input devices and also the output devices. For example, the input devices may be sensors, light sensors, pressure sensors, temperature sensor, etc. Many sensors out there. Uh, Beside the sensors, the input devices can also as simple as push buttons or switches. The others can be potentiometer, whether it's linear or linear potentiometers, or maybe a more complex one using keypads to enter the number or numeric keypad. So this kind of the input devices give data to the microcontroller, which the microcontroller process the data from the input devices and output the result to the output devices. For example, radio link, which is the data is uh, have to send transmit to the other side from the microcontroller itself. So we need the transmitter or radio link, or maybe just simple as LEDs, maybe green LED, yellow red, yellow LED or red LED, and etc. Or maybe the 7-segment displays. The other output devices is in order to move. For example, the hand of the robots, you can use the step motors, or maybe the servo motors or the DC motors. And the other display is the example of the LCD or OLED or analog devices and indicators. And the other is speakers, buzzers, and etc. So this is the illustration about the relationship between the input devices, the microprocessor itself to process the data from the input devices, and the result is going to the output devices according to the application. So this slide is an example of the 8051 projects The 8051 is Intel microcontrollers, but has many compatibility with something like 8051 not from Intel. So I think this is for the illustration purpose that you can build a water level controller, for example, using the microcontroller. Not only the 1851, you can use other microcontroller just like Arduino or maybe PIC 60F877. The other application is to detect the gas leakage, for example. So for the gas leakage detector, we use the gas sensor just like here. Okay, and for previous example is water level control. We use some of the ultrasonic to detect the level of the waters, something like that. And the other example is password-based security system to unlock the door, for example. So you need to input the numeric combination of the numeric using the keypad inputs. The other is solar tracker. So because the solar tracker is to track the solar, so we need the something like DC motor, servo motor, or stepper motor. The other example is electronic voting machine. This is the quite interesting because we can use this device to e-vote to select the the head of the organization, something like that. The other is RFID based access controller, ultrasonic rangefinder, and also just as you know the line follower robot and etc. Many applications using the microcontroller. So first time we need to know that in our discussion later we will use the number system in binary. Then we can use the digit in binary as a bit, but 8 digit of the binary is a byte. So byte is 8 bit, something like this. This is byte. Okay, byte is the content of byte is height nibble, 4 bits and 4 bits lower and 4 bits higher. So that is the MSB and this is the LSB. For the how many 8 bits or 1 byte, the number is from 0 to 255. The hexa from 0 to FF hexa. So it's very simple because 1 bit is only 0 or 1. This is the number system we will use along the lectures. So we need to know that the register is the fastest memory that can be accessed through the core of the microcontroller itself, the the CPU inside the microcontroller. So the register, or we can call the memory cell, is electronic circuit capable of storing state or state in bytes. Just you can see in this slide or this in this illustration. The other one is the SFR. Beside of the register, there are special function register according to the peripherals. Each of the peripherals have its register itself. So, for example, this is the SFR register to select the or to configure the oscillator, yeah, the oscillator or clock source into the microcontroller. Just for example. And the other register is input-output ports. This register is according or connected to the input and output pins in the microcontroller itself. So this pins is a bridging or interface between the outside and the inside of the microcontroller itself. So if you need to transmit data or to send data to the outside of microcontroller, you need the output ports. Otherwise, you can use the input ports to read or to accept the data from outside microcontroller. Okay, so this is a input or output ports. The other is a memory unit. There are some of type of memory. The first is read-only memory, ROM. It's used to permanently store running program. So read-only memory is to store the running programs. The size of the program store depend on this memory size. Currently, microcontroller usually use a 16-bit addressing. That's meaning that the size yeah, the size is reached to 64 kilobyte or 65,535 locations in total. The other type of ROM is mask ROM. Mask ROM is a kind of ROM whose content are programmed by the manufacturer. It's already programmed by the manufacturer. The term must come from the manufacturing process, where the chip region is closed before the photolithography process. The second one is OTP ROM, or you can only one-time programmable ROM that allow you to save a program to it, but as the name suggests, only only once. Okay, so you must be careful to save a program inside the OTP ROM. The popular is flash memory, but there is a UV resistible programmable ROM just like this. This is like something like programmable ROM, but can be erased. You can erase the program inside the EEPROM, UV EEPROM using the ultraviolet light. You can use the sun, the light of the sun to erase the program, but it's more popular now is flash memory. This flash memory is discovered in the 18th in the Intel laboratory and is represented as the successor to the UV EEPROM. Since this memory contents can be written and erased an unlimited number of times, unlimited number of times, the microcontroller with flash ROM is ideal for learning, experimentation, and small scale production. Because you can try, if there is any error, you can try again and try again until you satisfied the result. So the other one memory just is mentioned in this slide is random access memory. You know that the random access memory is after the power supply is turned off, the content of RAMs will be erased. Just be careful. This random access memory is used to store temporary data and temporary results during microcontroller operation. So another one is EEPROM, electrically erasable programmable ROM. The EEPROM, just the illustration in the right on the right side of this slide, the EEPROM is small IC here. It's only 4 and total 8 pins. So this EEPROM contents can be changed during operation similar to RAM, but they are retained permanently even after losing power. That's similar to ROM. Because of this, EEPROM is often used to store values created during operation, which must be stored permanently. For example, if you're designing electronic lock or an alarm, it would be nice to allow the user to create and enter a password, but there is no point in losing it every time the power supply goes out. So you can use this kind of device or to store the password. Now, the ideal solution is microcontroller with embedded EEPROM. So you can find the microcontroller using or have EEPROM inside. So the other concept of the microcontroller is the interrupt. Okay, so this is the illustration how the interrupt works. So the program execution flow just like this, but at some time it interrupt using maybe external interrupt. So the program execution stop right there, yeah, and then the subprogram of the interrupt according to the interrupt, the subprogram according to interrupt is processed. After it's finished, then microcontroller continue execute the program where it's left. Continuation of the normal program executions. So this is the concept, the basic concepts of the interrupt. So the main here is the CPU or central processing units. An instruction decoder. What is instruction decoder? It's a piece of electronics circuits that translate program instruction and execute other circuits. A different instruction set for each microcontroller family expresses the capabilities of the circuits. There's inside the CPU. Beside the instruction decoder, we have what we have here, the arithmetical logical unit. This unit performs all mathematical and logical operation on data. The other is accumulator. Accumulator is special function register that is closely related to operation of the ALU, a kind of workbench used to store all the data with which some operation have to be performed. For example, adding, moving, etc. Save the result ready for use in further processing. One of the SFRs called the status register or PSW is closely related to the accumulator. It shows at any given time the state of the number stored in the accumulator, or the number is greater or less than 0. So this is the illustration of the central processing unit, just I mentioned before. The other is the bus. Inside the microcontroller that maybe consists 8 or 16 or more cables. Yeah, there are three types of the bus: the address bus, the data bus, and the control bus. The address bus consists of many lines as needed for memory addressing, used to send addresses from the CPU to the memory. The second one is data bus, is as wide as the data. In our case, in the 8-bit microcontroller data, it's used 8-bit data bus to connect all circuit inside the microcontroller. And the last one is control bus, either a state or command information. So this is the illustration of the three of the bus right here. This is the data bus here, the address bus, and the control bus. Streamlined version of our Neumann model is data bus, address bus, control bus, and power bus. But this is optional because every chip is already power up. So the other is serial communication. Nowadays, that most of the microcontroller applications especially use a serial communication as standard equipment. So what is the serial communication? Serial communication is you have to send the data one by one, not all of once, but one by one, bit per bit. Okay, which system to use depend on many factors. The most important of which are the first question: how many devices does the microcontroller have or exchanging data? If you want too many devices, that you cannot the OART serial communication. For the specific of the serial communication, we will talk about it in the next slide. Okay, the second one of the question is how fast should data exchange take place? It should fast enough, or it's enough for now. What is the distance between the devices? That's important because the communication serial is according to the distance between device. If you use the OART like this, yeah, maybe no more than 10 meters, maybe less than 1 meter, less than maybe 1 meter, 2 meter is very noisy. Do you need to send and receive data at the same time? So we need synchronize the timestamp between the device which have data from the microcontroller, and also the microcontroller itself should synchronize the time from the two devices. So the first one of the serial communication is OART. What is UART? UART is Universal Asynchronous Receiver Time Transmitter. This type of communication is asynchronous, which means that the dedicated channels for transferring the clock signal is not used. In some applications, such as radio connection or infrared wave remote control, this feature is very important. Since only one communication line is used, the receiver and transmitter operate at predefined speeds to maintain the necessary synchronization. This is very simple way to transferring data as it is basically the conversion of 8-bit data from parallel to serial port. Baud rate is not high, up to 1 megabit per second. So what is baud rate? The term baud rate is used to denote that the number of bit transfer per second. That refers to bit, not byte, okay? It's usually required by protocol that each byte be transferred along with some control bits. This means that 1 byte in the serial data stream can be up to 11 bits. For example, if the baud rate is 300 bps, then the maximum of 37 and minimum of 27 bytes can be transferred per second. So the other serial communication beside the UART is I2C or integrated circuit. I2C is a system for serial data exchange between microcontrollers and special integrated circuits of the new generation. Used when the distance between the two is short. Okay, just to make sure the receiver and transmitter are usually on the same port. So it's very short. The connection is made through two connections. One is used for data transfer and the other is used for synchronization, clock, signal, and etc. It is necessary to address one slave chip before communication begins. In this way, one microcontroller can communicate with 120 different devices. With the baud rate usually is 100 kilobyte per second or 10 kilobyte per second. That is low baud rate. System with baud rate of 3.5 megabit per second have recently emerged. The difference in the distance between devices communicating via the I2C bus is limited to several meters. So this is the configuration on the schematic of the I2C device. This is the microcontroller, act like a master one. So we need to send the data to master 2. So the slave 1 and slave 2 can be deactivated. Okay, so we need the SDA for the data, SCL for the clock itself. So the last one is this SPI or serial peripheral interface. This is a serial peripheral interface is a serial communication system that use up to 4 conductors, usually 3. One conductor or connector is used for receiving data, one for sending data, one for synchronization, and one alternatively for selecting devices to communicate with. It's a full duplex connection, which means that the data is sent and received can be simultaneously. The maximum baud rate is higher than I2C communication. So the next question, the next concept is the oscillators. The oscillator is usually configured using a quartz crystal or ceramic resonator for frequency stability, but can also operate as a standalone circuit such as RC oscillator. Instructions don't run at the same speed as the oscillator itself, but can be slower. Why? Because it happens because each instruction is executed in several steps, not single steps. Okay. So in some microcontroller, the same number of cycles is required to carry out all instructions. While in other microcontrollers, the number of cycles is different for different instructions. Thus, if the system uses a quartz crystal with a frequency of 20 MHz, the instruction execution time is not 50 nanoseconds, but it could be 200, 400, 800 nanoseconds, depending on the type of the microcontroller itself. So this is the power supply circuit. We have what we have here is a reset pin. It's usually marked as MCLR or master clear reset. The other is brownout. So what is brownout? Brownout is potentially dangerous condition that occurs when the microcontroller is being switched off or when the power supply voltage drop to a minimum due to electrical noise. We will discuss about the brownout in the other lectures. To prevent this, microcontrollers usually have a built-in circuit for resetting out brown, which reset all electronic as soon as the microcontroller raises an emergency. Okay, that's the brownout. Back to the reset pin. It is used to reset the microcontroller externally by applying a logic of 0 or 1, which depend on the type of microcontroller. If the brownout circuit is not integrated, a simple external circuit for resetting the brownout can be connected to the MCLR ports. So the other features beside the power supply circuit is timer's counter. Most of the program use this miniature electronic stopwatch. It's just like a stopwatch. This usually an 8 or 16-bit SFR whose content is automatically increased with its incoming pulse. Okay, after registers are completely loaded, the interrupts can be generated. If the timer uses a built-in quartz oscillator for its operation, it can be used to measure the time between two events. If the register value is T1 at the start of the measurement and T2 at the end, then the elapsed time is the same as the result of subtracting 2 T2 to T1. If the registers use pulse coming from external source, such as timer is turned into a counter. In practice, the pulse generated by the quartz oscillator once per each machine cycle directly or with the prescaler are carried into the circuit, which increases the number stored in the timer register. So this is how does the timer works. Okay, if one instruction or one machine cycle lasts for 4 periods of the quartz oscillator, then this number will increase 1,000,000 times per second by infusing the quartz with a frequency of 4 MHz. So it is easy to measure short time interval up to the 256 microseconds in the manner described above. This is the largest number of in single register can be. This limitation can easily be overcome in several ways, such as by using slower oscillator, register with more bit, or you can use the built-in prescaler or interrupt. The first two solutions have some disadvantages, so it is advisable to use prescaler and off interrupt. So this is the elapsed time. This is the oscillator 4 MHz going to the internal microcontroller, then become 1 MHz. 1 MHz to the start number A and stop save as number B. So elapsed time is number B is minus number A. You can use this formula. What is prescaler? Prescaler is electronic device that is used to reduce the frequency by predetermined factor to generate a single pulse at set output. It is to carry 1, 2, or 4 or more pulses at the input. Most microcontrollers have one or more prescaler within, and the spread rates can be changed from within the program. Prescaler is used when it's necessary to measure a longer period of time. If one prescaler is shared by the timer and both stock timer, it cannot be used simultaneously, only one. So this is the prescaler elapsed time. You can use this elapsed time equation or this. This is N multiplied by B minus A. So this is the timer interrupt. Just like the external interrupt. Maybe the external is connected to the switch. So if you push the switch, it should generate interrupt. If the timer register consists of 8 bits, the largest number that can be stored is 255. The 16-bit register is 65.53.5. If you exceed this number, the timer will reset automatically and the counting will start from 0. This condition is called overflow. It's activated from within the program. An overflow can cause an interrupt, which presents entirely new possibilities. For example, the state of register used to count seconds, minutes, or day can be changed in the interrupt routine. The whole process, except the interrupt routine, is automatically carried out behind the scenes, which allows the main circuit of the microcontroller to operate normally. So this is the start. Okay, additional register, yeah, prescaler going inside the register, and the result is going back to the PC maybe. But when going back, there are any interruption. Okay, you use the same device as timer and also as counter. If the timer receives a pulse from the microcontroller input pin, the timer will turn into a counter. The only difference is that in this case, the pulse to be counted come through the microcontroller input pins, and the duration is largely undefined, just like this. So, what is the watchdog time? Watchdog timer is a simple countdown timer which is used to reset microcontroller after a specific interval of time. If properly operating system, software be periodically pet or restart the watching dog. The watchdog timer. So this is the illustration of watchdog timer. Oscillator CPU. Okay. Here instruction clear watchdog timer going to the CPU itself. So the next one is ADC or AD converter. Because analog and digital converter ADC, AD or the A to D is a system that convert an analog signal such as sound picked up by the microphone or light entering the digital camera into digital signal. So this is the analog signal, this is the digital one. The process is just like this, using the, what is this? The linear curve, yeah, linear curve of heat transfer characteristic. If the output of the ADC is 011 is according to 4 per 8, yeah. And also if you 18 to 16, maybe 18 is according to the 1 per 9. So this is a DC converter von Neumann. So this is the general view of the von Neumann and the Harvard architecture. So just be careful, this is the von Neumann architecture. The bus is overrated and communication is very slow and inefficient. Okay, so this is separate the data and the address, and the other is instruction set. I think the instruction set itself is a programming language using the assembly language. Okay, so there are two kind of instruction. That the first one is RISC, reduced instruction set computer. The second one is CIS, complex instruction set computer. CIS is the opposite of RISC. Microcontroller designed to recognize more than 200 different instructions can do many things at high speed. However, we need to understand how to take in all that has such a rich language has to offer, which is by no means easy. But RISC is the microcontroller only recognize and carries out a basic operation. Other more complicated operations can perform by combining them. For example, multiplication is done by making successive addition. It's the same as if you were trying to explain to someone using only a few different words how to get an iPod in new city. First of all, this language is easier to learn. The microcontroller is fast that it's impossible to see all the arithmetic arithmetic performance. The user can only see the final result. Finally, it's not that difficult to explain where the output is if you use the right words like left, right, kilometer, and etc. So this is the last of our lecture about the microcontroller in general. Thank you very much, and to be continued to the second episode about the PIC 60F877 microcontroller. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.